let's kick it off.
Right, welcome everybody. It's lovely of you. It's lovely to meet you all, to see you all. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the word admit and going to admit. It's great to see you all. I'm basically mainly going to let Mark introduce himself and just explain where he lives at the moment and why he's a wealth of knowledge to tell us all about these amazing events that are happening in Europe. And we can share the information with you guys, and you can then choose which ones you'd like to come to, basically. Mark, could you introduce yourself for me, please?
Hi, everyone. For those that know me, nice to see you again. For those that don't, hi there. My name's Mark Dunbar. I've been canicrossing since the grand old age of 47, to be honest, with a Springer Spaniel. I moved to France 7 years ago, and I now do all my canicross, bikejoring, trottinette, ski joring around France, Switzerland, Germany, and Italy. My location is roughly an hour from Geneva, an hour and a half from Geneva, an hour and a half from Turin, and I'm in the French Alps near a little place called Albertville.
Fantastic. And how many dogs have you got, Mark, in total?
At the minute, 4, 2 working dogs, 2 bracks, and 2 non-working dogs, rescues and retired. Fantastic.
It's brilliant. I've known Mark for quite a while, quite a long time, and completely jealous of all the amazing races that he gets to go to and the events he gets to go to. We've done a couple, so I can chat about a few of them, but nowhere near the ones that Mark's done, but also how many times that he's done them. So we thought it would be a really great opportunity, prodded a little bit by Natalie, to just sort of have a chat, show you what events are available out here, and then if you've got any questions, please ask. So anybody watching, if you've got questions, stick your hand up. Verity's our IT tech here, which is she'll tell us if there's anything happening or we've got any questions or anything. And if you've got any, please ask. This is for you guys. We want you to come and have lots and lots of fun. Basically either on snow or in the mountains. So I'm going to do a share screen, which always scares the living daylights out of me. And basically, can you see our presentation now?
Yes.
Perfect. So we are going to be just chatting through a couple of the European events. This is just a few of them, really, isn't it? Because you race nearly every weekend in Switzerland as well.
Yeah,
so.
the main championship runs I do. The Swiss normally have eight runs a year in the Southern Federation Championship, and the Northern Federation Championship have another 8 runs a year. And what happens is you race for them. You are judged in 7 out of the 8 events, and the one that's got the most points wins their championship. So it's a really good system. I'll touch base on how the Swiss actually work it. It's such a friendly, easy system to operate, and it's nowhere else that I've actually raced does it like the Swiss. But I will touch on that when I'm talking about Switzerland and how they do it.
Fantastic. So the first one we're going to start with is the biggie that I know any Brits might have heard about, which is basically the TDM, the Trophy des Montagnes. Did I say that right in French?
Trophy des Montagnes.
Nearly.
Not bad. Not bad.
So, I thought it'd be really fun just to talk to where is it, when is it, and a few questions here. We've got a few photos to show you as we go through these as well. It's usually held about the first week of August, isn't it?
It is always the first Saturday. It covers the first Saturday in August. So if the first Saturday in August is the 10th, it will start on the 10th. But it couldn't be the 10th because there's only 7 days, but that was an exaggeration. But it always starts the first Saturday in August and runs from Saturday to the following Sunday.
Right. And there are 10 races in total, is it?
It really depends. They've changed it in the years gone by. Sometimes it's 9, sometimes it's 10. I went down this year. The program for next year is 10 races in the 9 days.
Brilliant. So entry numbers, they are, it's nuts, isn't it? Opening.
300, it is capped at 300 now. However, that 300 does not include the people that turn up on the day for the race or just turn up at the weekend. You're allowed to go to the TDM and run one race, two races, come for a weekend, run a couple of races. You are judged in the championship by doing all the races. So you can have more, you can have less.
Yeah. Big question that everyone asks about TDM. We'll put a picture up in a minute. Do you need to be super fit in order to race at the TDM?
Not at all. It is for everybody, every age, every ability. It is for everybody. That's why they've actually grown it to 300, to give a lot of the elite athletes the chance to go and do their thing, but everyone else, big dogs, small dogs, whatever, can go and have a week's holiday. Well, I think it's a week's holiday because it's my most favorite event, and I've done it 11 years in a row now.
And just wanted to put up a picture of one of the small hills that might be involved.
They are small.
Says someone who lives in the Alps.
Yeah. My driveway is steeper than that. but it is from a personal point of view. I love hills. Put me on a flat and I'm absolutely useless. So, you know, horses for courses. Everyone has got their own abilities, their own favorites, their own things to do. For me, I work towards the TDM. That's my aim every year is the TDM.
Yeah, it is a superb event. They do. I think this is probably a photo of one of the first day starts. And it can be a little bit nuts. So it's a mass starts of about 40 per wave.
40 per wave. The first day is always that now. And you know, it works pretty well. You've done it, Kush. Everyone's done it. You've got it, you know your dog. Most people know their dog. Yes, with 300 people that don't know each other, you're going to have a few little mishaps, trip ups, you know, nothing serious. Everyone knows why they're there. And it's, although some of them are, the elite athletes are really there to try and win the TDM, there is still an element of respect for everybody that does it.
Yeah, completely agree. And I mean, the mass starts, I mean, my general one was just hang at the back and pick them off going up the hills. Yeah. And it's just stay out of trouble at the back somewhere.
I mean, an example for me is I've got two totally different dogs. I've got one dog that likes to be in the front of everything and be away from it all. And I've got another dog that likes to chase. So for instance, whenever I started with Zoogie, I always tried to be one of the first off so that I could get up and get out the way of everybody. With my new dog, he likes to chase. So I will just sit at the back and let him do the work on the uphills and I do the work on the downhills.
Yeah. It's a really it's an amazing event. I've got I think, oh no, going forward shouldn't be allowed with so this is just, it really is family friendly, isn't it? I love it because just watching the children of all ages taking part.
Yeah, it's for everybody.
Yeah. And with the younger children, they run with an adult, so you've got the dual line attached to the dog so that they can take part. And then there's a picture there basically just to show the scenery, because the scenery is spectacular.
Yeah,
we do about 3 or 4 different stations, don't we?
It is now will be only 3. You'll be at a place called Ozon-Wazon for the first 4 days now. So you've got 4 races in Ozon-Wazon. Then we go down to Alamont, and Alamont is the 1-day race. And then we go over to Oris, which is the last 5 races. So, yep.
That's quite significant. So it's actually easier for accommodation for people.
It is. And also Villard-Réculas, which was always a regular, there is no way you would get 300 people up into Villard-Réculas without, you know, causing chaos. So they've, because of the number, because of the logistics and the traveling, they've streamlined it down. So it's 3 resorts, and you know yourself, it's very well organized. You know, there's enough parking, camping, everything for everybody.
Yeah. So actually you could stay. So that's something, it's for accommodation. You could stay up in Oz or Alamont and commute.
Well, you now have in Alamont, you have a free cable car that takes you up to Oz.
That's awesome. So there's no excuse. So you can stay in one of the villages, commute up to Oz for that weekend, well, for the first 4 or 5 races, and then move to Ari for the final weekend.
There's 4 races. You could, I mean, this year a lot of people stayed down in Alamont, as they do, because that's where the campsites are. They stayed down there. Some got the cable car up, some drove up. It is roughly takes you about 15 minutes to drive up from Alamont to Oz Station. So
slightly longer in a motorhome.
No, it's not. It's about 15 minutes, Kush, honestly, going slowly. If you go back down to get to the hospital or the doctor with Kika, then it's probably about 5 minutes.
Kika's a mad Dutch woman. Driver.
Very, very mad Dutch woman. Do not mess with her.
But so to enter these events, the entries open in February, don't the beginning of February?
Yeah, normally the first Saturday in February is the entry opening day, and then 10 minutes later it's full up.
Yeah, so if you are interested in coming, it's worth keeping an eye on the Trophy des Montagnes web Facebook page, because they give you all of the dates of when the entries are going to open, and it is usually a really, really mad dash. However, if you don't get in, a lot of people enter because they want to reserve a place, and a lot of times people get ill, they get injured, something happens so they can't go. So you know, if you don't get in, you go on a waiting list, and the chances are you probably will get a slot. But
also, if people are not overly bothered that they wouldn't be in the overall classification, they can come and enter the events on a daily basis or a week basis. They can come and do the whole of the TDM. They won't be in the classification at the end, but if you want to judge your time against other people, you know, that's a way of looking at it. There's always a place for you, but not necessarily in the overall championship.
Brilliant. So that's the TDM. We could probably talk about the TDM forever, I think.
Yeah.
Another event that started, it was at the inaugural year, was last year, wasn't it, in the Schwaben Trail?
Yeah.
Which is organised by one of the clubs out there, Melanie Steiger, which, as we went last year as the inaugural event, and it was great fun. 3 disciplines. You've got the scooter, the CaniCross, and the bikejor. You did dual start, didn't you, Mark?
I did my
dual start. You did, was it bike and
bike? No, I did. Yeah, I did bike last year, bike and CaniCross.
Yeah, which was slightly insane, to be honest, but there you go. Oh, and warm up jog around the course.
Yeah,
as well.
And I think that's why I broke my foot on the last day.
I think so. Doing the course 3 times every day was probably
a bit much.
So this is held in Germany. It's
not far from Stuttgart. Probably the biggest nearest town is somewhere between Stuttgart and Basel, so it's roughly near Stuttgart.
Yeah, it took us about 7 hours. I can't remember how much it took actually, because we couldn't stop in France, so it was a bit of a mad dash for us. Entry numbers, they're limited as well, aren't they?
Well, they put on 250, and apparently it's full up, but again, you can lose 10% easily by the time the competition comes.
Yeah. Something I've put on all of these is, do I need to be able to speak French, or do I need to be able to speak German? And I would definitely say you don't, do you?
Not at all, not at all. There is always somebody there. All the races overseas, there is somebody who will help you. They love to have the foreigners come in, no matter where you're from. They love, and they go overboard for them more than the locals. And I've never ever not been made to feel welcome.
Yeah. This was great fun. So it's a week of it was 7 days. I can't remember now.
Seven races, 7 days. First race is on the Sunday. The last race is on the following Saturday.
So you go out, and what we generally do is the same as what we do for a couple of races, which is the other race that we're going to look at as well, the TSB. Is there's an opportunity. The races are usually slightly later in the day. I think they've changed it this year, so they start.
Yeah, they have 10 o'clock is the latest start time is 10 o'clock in the morning, but you can still go early and see the trails.
Yeah, so usually just nip out, have a look at the trail, either on a bike or, like Mark, run if you'd like to, nutter. But you can generally go around the course.
much safer
Yeah.
on running.
Yeah. But it's a lot safer to go and look at the course, check what it is, know what's going to come up. They were mainly on, there was some lovely wooded trails. It was around fields, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a mix. They've actually printed off the plans this year, and it's exactly the same as last year. It's a mixture of fields, a little bit of pathways, and sort of trail single track. So it's a mixture of everything, and they're all flat. They're flat as a pancake. There is no hills at all, is there, Simon? No, no hills, no hills.
There was a steep down. There was a blooming steep downhill on the start of one of them.
Pancakes they were.
Yeah, if you live in the Alps, it's a pancake. If you live in Wiltshire, it was a little bit hairy. But fantastic event, so friendly. You could. We stayed at a local campsite because we've got the van. So we stayed at a campsite and then just drove to the races each day. There was a stakeout area that you stayed at, Mark, wasn't there?
Yeah, right next to where everything happens. They have next to a farm. They've actually been allocated an area for parking and camping, and it's just great. You know, there's no charge, but they put toilets up. They have everyone gets together at night, and it's just good fun. And about half a kilometre down the road, there is a Sportsplatz, which has a restaurant and a bar, which do really good meals, cheap as chips. Excellent it is.
Yeah, it was a fabulous event, really, really well organised, as you would expect from Germans, but it was superb.
But they've actually modelled this on the TSB. So again, it's modelled on the friendly atmosphere. What's coming up next? If you have a problem during a course or that, say you have a puncture or anything and you have to stop, they will let you go again. So you come back, you can fix your puncture, you can get everything done. They will reset the timings for you, and you can go again in exactly the same as the way as the TSB is.
Yeah, and that's the one we were going to come on to next. So another amazing week-long event. We've been doing that for TSB for quite a few years as well. Trophies of Bourgogne. Whereabouts? You're probably better at geography in France than I am, Mark. Where would you say it's nearest?
It's near Dijon. If you think of it's halfway down. If you're traveling from the UK to the Alps, it's halfway down France. It's about 4 hours from the ferry port. I would say 4.5 hours, and it's near Dijon, Mâcon are the two main big towns that you're sort of going to get to.
So we, again, really lovely journey. You can either do the toll roads or the non-toll. The non-toll, unfortunately, it's awful. You have to stop at somewhere called Chablis in the vineyard.
Oh, terrible.
It's just gutting that you have to do that. You don't have to, but of course, I feel like we should. And there's actually a brilliant couple of vineyards there, and one in Chablis, which actually, if you've got motorhomes or a caravan, it's a free air there with free electric hookup, free water, and you just plug in overnight, and the next morning it's very rude not to go for wine tasting in Chablis and buy the most amazing wine at amazing prices, which is even cheaper than the supermarkets. And that makes it into a really nice stopover with a couple of walks for the dogs that you can easily get to because you're in the vineyard. So some fantastic areas to stop with the dogs, which is awesome. That's usually held, they've changed it this year. It's slightly later this year. It's just going into the first week of November.
It's only because it's normally coincides with the French school holidays. The first week of the French school holidays is called Toussaint, and it normally coincides with that, so that the people with kids can actually get to the event. So it's normally the first week of the school holidays for the southern region of France. More often than not, it is the last week in October, just going into November.
Yeah, and this is it's such a friendly event, and there's people that again come from all over Europe. You get the Dutch guys, you get the all the Germans coming over, the Swiss,
Belgians, lots of Belgians.
Yeah, loads of Belgians. How could I forget them? But a really, really friendly European event. It's fantastic fun. A lot of people stay centrally on a couple of campsites, and then you drive out each day. And if you're not sure, we go in convoy, and you just follow each other out to the venues, because we've got Simon, who's a map reader, who plots them all during the week for everybody if you need that. But you drive out en masse if you'd like to go to the event. So friendly, as Mark said. 1 year, I think Simon snapped the chain on his bike just for a change. and basically came back and they just lent him a bike, or I can't remember if he lent one or fixed his, but it's like, right, here's your bike, start again. And it's just, and they really care about the dogs. It's fabulous. It's a superb one.
And they have a lot of, after the races, they go and meet some of the local towns. They go and the mairie comes and they have a little bit of wine and cheese and soft juice as well sometimes.
This is a picture I put up. So some of the starts are dual starts. So Natalie's going off here with Edna against, I can't remember her name, the Belgian lady. But different sorts of starts. We do mini mass starts, dual starts, start 3 at a time. If you've got, they're quite narrow trails. So if you've got trails like this with the mass starts, most people just self-seed and go.
It's always an age category on the TSB. So it's always in your gender age category. You always go off. The ladies normally go off first. Sometimes they go off after the guys, but it's never changed.
Yeah. And then that's a picture. The middle picture is actually at one of the local Marie's, where, it's so lovely. You go to the local town hall and they put on drinks, usually a bit of wine, some nibbles, and they listen to some speeches, but they feed you. It's great. But it's so friendly. I love it. And you get to go to these amazing buildings, which, some of the town halls are just stunning. And then something that Schwaben Trail, the Alpcross that we've just looked at, what Melanie borrowed from there, is the Feast of Nations, which is just fantastic fun that happens during the week, doesn't it?
It's happening on day one this time, so that everyone can get to know each other on the first day, so that it makes it a bit more friendly during the week, which is a great idea.
It's awesome. So the idea of the Feast of Nations is that you all have to take specialities of your region. And you basically put them all out on a buffet table and share them. So each year, I think we're running out of ideas now. I need to have a chat to Mandy. I think she bought wild boar sausages from the Forest of
Dean. Yeah, she did. That's right. Yeah.
We've done scones. If anyone's got any ideas, message them in. We've done scones. We've done cheddar cheese. The cider didn't go down well, I've got to say. They left that. But we've worked our way through quite a few. The crackers didn't go down. We did cheddar cheese, crackers, and pickle. And the cheese disappeared, but the crackers, they didn't go well. Pork pies, we've done lots of things, but if anyone's got any ideas, let us know. We're running low on ideas for that. But it's such a fabulous fun to try. Daniel, who comes from Switzerland, usually brings the
that's him in the white hat in the middle photograph.
Up
talking to the Mary, he does all the translation.
Yeah, there he is. Daniel's amazing. He's the Chris Whitty of Switzerland, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 66 years old.
But he was, bless him, he was trying to retire, and then COVID kept getting in the way. But he bought wheels of cheese, didn't he? He was doing. He
brought the cheese from Switzerland, the raclette. So he brought the machine, everything, and melted the cheese onto the plates with a little bit of paprika. Classic.
Yeah. I kept queuing, and he kept looking again. You're back. Yes, I am. It's stunning fun. But and they do CaniCross, bike, and scooter again at the TSB, and it's a fantastic week. Some people have stayed in apartments that are there, or you can do glamping and all of those kind of things. So actually, accommodation's not a problem where it is either. Lots of options. Right. Oh, now I'm going backwards. Right, I don't know anything about this one.
This, unfortunately, for the last 2 years, this has been cancelled. This is a 4-day event. It's a 4-day event. There's no biking. It is just CaniCross. They were thinking of bringing biking in. We're hoping in the future they bring it in, but they're hard, severe courses, but great fun. It's on a lake. Not far, if you think of the TSB, probably an hour more south from the TSB towards Switzerland, towards Geneva, and it's held in a lovely valley, a big lake. You stay in a water park. Fantastically organized, really friendly, again with the other events. Basically, they are really serious, hard races, but great fun. They have the kids races. everything. They have on site, you stay on the, it's free, but you stay on the water park area. You have a little bar, you have a couple of food stalls that do chips and things like that. And it is just great fun.
Mandy, she's got a question.
I do. When you say they're severe races, severe in what way?
They're hard, Mandy. They are. It's a bit of up and down, and they're not easy flat races.
Oh, so it's ascent and descent you're talking about.
Yeah, they are. That's why they don't do the bike at the minute, because they would be dog-free areas. In some countries do the dog-free, let the dogs off. There are some bits of the Durashian that you would need to let your dog off, because it is quite hard. But again, it's entirely how you want to run it. If you're happy having a hard race, yeah, it's fantastic. It's a bit like a mini TDM. It's probably the best way I could describe it is it's a mini TDM.
Awesome. And it's usually held in May, is it?
It's nearly always the end of May. The last 2 years that I did it was round about the 15th of May, around that time. And it's always been the same, but because of COVID, obviously they've not had it the last couple of years.
And are numbers capped on that one?
Not at the minute, because it's a relatively new race. They've done it okay, 5 or 6 times. Not as many people attended. You're probably saying 100, maybe 150 was at the last one. The one before that was a lot less. So it's as it gets known and as it gets more popular, people start coming to it. The only trouble with that one is that there is the gap week was coinciding when they had the gap. Then the gap changed to April, so they've changed those 2 competitions, so it now doesn't clash with any others. But it's really cracking area. You stay in the campsite, you don't move anywhere, you walk to the start of the races, and they're all different, mostly single track through forests and everything along the side, the beaches and everything. It is fantastic.
That sounds stunning.
Yeah,
it really does.
I mean, the club that do it are called the Durashian. So it's in the Jura Mountains. So it's a lake in the Jura Mountains, and it is fantastic.
The scenery does look superb.
Yeah, I mean, after the TDM, I tick that one straight away. I get my name into that one.
Fab. The next one I've got is, oh no, that was the European, I think, again, just to show you, some more pictures that I managed to find of that one. So showing all of those. Right, and the next one we've got is, again, I don't know anything about this one, which is this the CaniTrail Diamant?
Diamant, which I didn't know anything about that until I came back from the TDM this year, the non-official TDM. And this one is in my area here. It's the area of mountains where we ski is called Diamant. And they just decided the FFST is the other federation in France from the FSLC. Now the FFST have started a new discipline, CaniTrail. Now that discipline is longer than 6 kilometers, but round about 15 is the max they'll probably do. It's up and down mountains. There's no, don't think you'll get flat. It is up and down mountains. It is for everybody and anybody. We had people walking it, marchers, going for a good walk. You walk up to like the top of a ski station and then back down again. The first race was just up a mountain, like the Alpette and the TDM. You just went up, but it was 6.5 kilometers, roughly about, for me, it was about 40 minutes. And it is, the scenery is just breathtaking. It's a 4-day event. You do 3 different resorts, but they're very close to each other in this area. And you've got everything, single tracks, mountain tracks, you've got the lot. So it's, again, it's TDM, 4-day TDM. For me, it was 20 minutes away. So yeah. I was going to the race, coming home, going to the race. I mean, I started the second race with my breakfast because I missed my start. So I still had my croissant and I finished the race with my croissant. But the good organization, again, it's a little different. You've got to carry water bottle, you've got to carry whistle, you've got to carry a space blanket just in case. But at the time of the year they do it, which is the end of, coming into about the end of August, the temperatures are absolutely fine, you know, no problem at all. And this year there was only probably about 45 of us, 50 of us doing it, you know, more marchers, that's people walking out, going for a hike, than actual people that were running it. But I mean, I was worried. I thought maybe they might be a bit long for my dog. My dogs are short running dogs, and we're talking that one of them was 13.5 kilometers with about a 700 meter climb up and a 700 drop down. And I thought, will my dogs still be able to do that? Will they be too tired? Will they overheat? Not a problem. Not one single. They loved it. Absolutely loved it. You approach it a little bit differently. You're not sprinting. It's more like a bit of a jog. You go out for a bit of a jog with your dog, but great fun. Great fun.
Fantastic. I can see Mandy's writing that one down. That sounds like a Mandy event.
Well, you do know we've got a couple of apartments here, so yeah.
That's true. That's very true.
More than welcome to stay.
That scenery on that picture, that just shows you what amazing scenery it is.
It's fantastic. Again, it's a mini TDM.
Love it. Now we're getting to some new areas here, which is quite good fun. The Ski on CaniCross Blanc in France.
Yeah.
I'm going to go straight through. Right. What on earth is this?
That's a CaniCross race on snow.
Obviously.
Yeah, it's very popular over here. The French do more of the running on snow than maybe Switzerland, or there's one in Germany which is very good as well. The good thing about running on snow, the dogs' paws don't get affected. The temperature for the dogs is absolutely magic. They love it. The dogs love it. And for the humans, when you're running downhill, because obviously you're going to have some up and down, but any of the downhill, the grip that you get by sinking into the snow makes the running downhill really easy. In races where I'm running downhill and I put my dog behind me when it's dangerous, on a snow race, you don't need to, because the snow breaks your fall. So you can actually use that on your downhill. So the dog is, because the dog sinks as well. So it's hard work for the dogs. The dogs work harder on snow, but they seem to enjoy it more.
So do you wear anything like yak tracks or anything on you? No.
It's got to be normal trainers, no spikes, no anything that could hurt because you run in close proximity to other runners, other dogs. It would be so easy to stand on a dog's foot or something like that, or if you fall over, if you've got anything metal on you, you could injure the dogs. So no, but to be honest, I've done loads with different trainers. I've had Salomons on, I've had other shoes on, never had a problem with grip.
Wow. And there's a mass start, is it, on these?
More often than not, it is. The one at Contamine, which again is not far from here. It's about an hour and a half driving from here, near Megève and Chamonix. It's a beautiful area, cracking area. They started last year in waves of 20 for the running. The ski juring is single start. You start, and then it's a minute or 2 minutes when the next person goes as well for the ski juring.
Love it. Oh, here we go. Yep. So that's a close-up of action. It's just look nuts.
It's brilliant. It is brilliant. I mean, the dogs, we don't know any dogs that don't enjoy it.
It's brilliant. Love it. Another one which is on snow again, which is a Ski-Your and CaniCross Blanc. This is in Germany, isn't it? Todtmoos?
This Todtmoos is quite near Basel, so it's north of Switzerland. You go through Basel into Germany, so it's not far from there. This is exactly the same as the one in France as well. They do a CaniCross Blanc, which is fantastic. There's a hill in it you would not believe, down and up. So that's my friend Daniel with his dog. It is just a friendly German atmosphere. They have a beer tent, they have a restaurant tent, they have a cafe and cooking tent, they have tents that sell all stuff for dogs. It is, I mean, I have a picture somewhere of the crowds waiting to go in and watch the sled dog in Germany. And there must be 1,000 people lined up waiting to go into this event. It is all along the side there, you'll see the crowds, but it is amazing. It is fantastic. And again, all these weekend races, it's always 2 days. So you're not just traveling somewhere just for one day. So you do 2 days. You do the ski touring, CaniCross, whatever, both days. And it's great.
I love that Daniel's ski-oring with his boxer.
Yeah, well, he's got a new dog now, so, but his boxer were great. And again, it's not, you're never going to compete with some of the massive hounds that you see nowadays. There is absolutely no way. It doesn't matter how good a skier you are or how well your dog pulls. The people that ski for the countries and the world championships and everything like that, their dogs are massive. You should never go there and think, oh, I'm going to try and win this. It is just so much fun. You know,
it's really interesting because I think all the events that we've looked at, I mean, there's so many different breeds of dogs. And I think that's something that's really important. You don't need to have,
no,
you know, purpose-bred dogs, do you?
You don't. Yeah, it's like any sport, anywhere. You have your elite athletes who will have the best equipment. And it's exactly the same in this. You've got your people that are going out to win, and they've got to win. And then you've got 75% of people are just going out for a bit of fun with their dog, and it's just great. And and that's what I like. That's what I like about Europe. It's not winning is all important. On the podiums, everybody gets the same prize. There's not a bigger bag of dog food for whoever wins and a tiny little one and a toothbrush for third place. Everybody, first, second, and third prizes are exactly the same in every event, which is really, really good. You know, and the same as the kids. The kids get a load of prizes. They all get exactly the same thing. You know, and they're encouraged to help the other kids along as well.
Yeah, I think that's what I really love. It really, most of the events in Europe as well are so family friendly. I mean, from doing the TDM and seeing the babies where basically, you know, they can barely walk yet, to, you know, the older kids that, you know, some of them take it quite seriously. Of course they would, but it's fantastic to see. But, you know, no pulling the dogs is allowed. Everything's got to be the dog comes first.
Yeah, it is. And that is the good thing over here. You know, there's a couple of countries I've not been to yet, but I've heard good reports. You know, the Czech Republic, I've heard some very, very good reports about the racing in the Czech Republic. I mean, I've raced nearly everywhere else, and I've got no complaints whatsoever. Different federations, you know, different organizations, but everybody is so welcoming, especially to foreigners.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. So, because going through some of these is that you don't need lots of dogs. You can turn up and just do one dog. I think a lot of us here have all done the TDM with just one dog.
Yeah. The thing about the one dog is over here, they have a kind of time rule. Even some of the small events you go to, the monthly events that they've got on all weekend, you can run your dog in say a 3 or 4 kilometer course. And then if possible, you could run that dog again 3 hours after, if it's, you know, not too bad a course, especially for the kids. The kids get a chance. They can, if they've got 2 kids, they can run the same dog within a 3-hour band. So the will, if it's a hard course, if it's a long course, anything more than sort of 15 minutes, you won't get to run your dog twice. But especially in Switzerland, a lot of the courses we do in Switzerland, they're 12-minute courses, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, you know, so you can actually go and have a jog and then have all right, I know the course, I'll wait 3 hours and go out again. So,
and that's with the bike as well, is it?
No, that's only you're not allowed to do the same dog on any of the wheeled events twice. They won't let a dog do a wheeled event twice.
Okay. So, but so you don't really need lots of dogs. The paperwork is really that's a kind of can of worms for little bits, but you do generally, TDM, they do vet checks. So you do need to have your dog with, actually we need to turn up with a human medical certificate and a dog medical certificate as well. You can get them vet checked, can't you?
Right, you can, there is a, for the TDM, there's a paper that you can get filled out by your vet, and as long as that is stamped, it's called a vet fiche, and it's on the website, and you put all your names of all your dogs, chip numbers, vaccine dates, your vet will stamp it. If you send that to them before the TDM, or you bring it with you, they will go off that. So you don't need all your passports and everything. All they are checking that is that your dog has been vaccinated for rabies, it's got distemper vaccine, and it's got kennel cough vaccine. And that is all over Europe. That is everywhere in Europe. That's the same three. So the normal vaccinations that your dog gets anyway, the rabies, and the kennel cough is one. I don't like to get kennel cough. I've got to get it because everybody wants it. I've got 2 dogs that get kennel cough, even though they've been vaccinated for it. It is just one of the stipulations.
Okay.
But as long as you have got those 3, there's nothing else you need. All the events in Europe, you will be accepted. The medical certificate is your insurance in France. Every athlete, whether it's triathlon, running without a dog, any sport, must produce a medical certificate to participate in the event. The medical certificate validates the event insurers insuring you, because you are insured. If anything happens to you on that event, then you've got comeback. So the medical certificate is just to say that you are fit to do a race.
And do you physically show that, or is that part of your membership to your federation?
The FSLC ask for that at the beginning of a year. It is now valid 3 years. It used to be valid for 1 year. Any medical certificate now over here is valid for 3 years. So with my membership, I've shown them that. So my membership card, when I produce it, all the club in every country know that I have got a medical certificate.
Okay, so because I know at TDM that we've had to actually turn up with a separate medical certificate, because our membership of the British BSSF Federation, of our sports federation, doesn't actually they don't ask us for that.
No, that's been a problem in the past, and also with when the BSSF did not do insurance.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just one of the differences with different federations. And the TDM, I think, is I've never been asked for a medical certificate in any other event, only the TDM.
Okay. Brilliant. And then usually guys traveling from UK, most of these events, so TDM and certainly the TSB and the Schwaben Trail. No, we had to go and find one because we stayed on for a few days when we went to the Schwaben one. But certainly TSB and TDM, when you speak, we usually chat to the organisers, and they arrange for all of our passports to be stamped for our return. This year is probably going to be hell on earth getting them to stamp page 4 of the animal health certificate. Because I think they're as confused as we are about them all.
Yeah, they will. If you tell them what to do, they will do it. Every event over here has a vet on site for every. They must do. They're not allowed to hold an event if they have not got a vet in situ.
Yeah, and usually most of the events we've gone to, a lot of them don't charge you. So a lot of us do a whip round, either put money into an envelope or buy them a gift, just to say thank you, because a lot of the time they won't, they don't charge you for it. They just do it as part of the event and the organization. So we usually do buy some goodies and stuff, or just put hard cash in an envelope and say thank you very much for doing that. So, because otherwise coming back, we all know how expensive it can be to find a vet to do it.
The events out here are not expensive at all.
That's another really important, just briefly, because I mean, I'm always amazed. There are, some of them are about 90 euros for a week.
Yeah, I would say the average is 100 euros for a week event. In Switzerland, I went at the weekend. I did 3 events, 2 CaniCross, 1 scooter. It cost me 20 euros for my first run, and then €10 for each event after that. So €40 for three runs over the weekend, and all your camping's free and everything. There's no other charges. You don't charge it. Any event in Europe I've gone to, you don't charge a separate for parking, a separate if you're overnighting, or everything is included in your entry fee.
Yeah, I know, because the TSB as well is just, that's usually about, they've just started taking a deposit for that, because I think numbers were a little bit, everyone said, oh yes, we're going to come, and then didn't turn up. And actually we were saying to them, look, please take a deposit, because
they did this year. We've all paid €50.
Yeah, so that means that at least they've got some comeback, because there's a lot of people that don't turn up and things. But TSB, I don't know what they're doing this year, but last year we all left with a camping chair.
Yes, I've still got. Yeah, I got one. I got a pink one as well from the Swiss Federation. I won a pink one. So,
so usually the little goodie bags are. I mean, the German goodie bag, they're all giving away. They're all getting a tractive, so they're all getting a dog tracker.
Yeah, but you've still got to pay a monthly subscription if you want to use that. You've got to remember that. The only reason I go to the German event is because first prize was a case of beer.
We came with 2 cases of beer. It was awesome. Their goodie bags were phenomenal. I always felt guilty kind of walking away. It was like, but phenomenal goodie bags as well. And yeah, the TSB were all left with a camping chair. It was fantastic. We're just going to run through a couple of acronyms as well, which I know a few of you just asked us to really briefly to run through these. But if you've got any questions for Mark, he's going to still be here. This is going to take a few minutes just to explain a few bits of these, because I know it gets a bit confusing, especially when you're doing events. But Mark's still here, so you've got questions. Hold on to them for a second. Quick one about our federation. So our federation is the British Sled Dog Sports Federation, the BSSF. They've got a website, which I've put on the bottom of this slide here, and the Facebook, you can get further information. They run the national championships, which are open to all members of the BSSF. You need to be a member in order to race there. They're held under the IFSS rules, which I'll explain to you in a minute. Not all the rules will be here till next Wednesday. But so there are limited age categories for the monosports. So basically, because they run under the IFSS rules, it's either over 40 or under 40. So they don't do all of the age categories that you'll find in a lot of other events, especially the European events and the ICF, which I'll explain. So the podium positions will normally qualify you automatically to represent your country at the ICF and the IFSS events. So if you're in the top 3, then you will normally automatically get invited to then represent GB and go to those events. By competing at national championships, so it will give you a national ranking as well, which will really help if you'd like to enter the ICF or the IFSS championships if there's some spare places. So IFSS events usually have a lot fewer spare places, whereas the ICF, because it's purely monosports, there are generally more opportunities to be able to get an entry to it. But you will need to have a national ranking generally in order to be able to take part in that. The ICF is...
Sorry, Kush, can I just interrupt? Your BSSF license is valid for all races in Switzerland, Germany and France. If you want to run a race, you just need to produce your license, BSSF license, and you will get accepted into any of the races over here.
Yeah. And the insurance now is valid for some, for some European events, so that insurance is valid for you to enter these. So it's really worthwhile doing. Thank you for saying that. That's a really good point. The ICF is the International CaniCross and Bike Touring Federation. It also does scooter. I don't know why we don't mention scooter on there, but that covers the 3 monosports. It covers all monosports events. They now hold annually a World Championship event, which countries then volunteer to host that event. So it moves around. It's going to get interesting because now they're holding World Championships. It's going to get interesting about where we might be hosted, such as Brazil or Australia. So that will get quite interesting, I think. They do offer the full age categories for the monosports. So all the way up to Vet 3, which is 60 to 69. I'm hoping when I get there, they're going to put a 70 to 79 in, because I'll probably be needing it by then. Won't be running with a Greyster though, got to be saying that. But they cover all the full range of all of the age categories. In order to qualify, you generally need a top 3 placing to guarantee it in the BSSF Championships. But to be honest, there's usually additional entries available to be able to enter those and to put a request in to go. This coming year, they're going to be in Pledran in Brittany in France. So although it's not down, it's still about 7 hours across. So it's still quite a journey. Usually the courses for that are between, well, they've got to be between 5 and 7 kilometers for all of the disciplines. So they're sprint races. The IFSS is the International Federation of Sled Dog Sports. And this is the rules which the BSSF, our federation, run under. They have a World Championships and a European Championships, which are usually held on alternating years. So one year there'll be a Worlds, and the following year there'll be European Championships. There are limited age categories for monosports, which is the under and over 40. However, there are some new age categories which are being trialled, I think, due to pressure from the monosports. So there are some being trialled. I'm not sure if there'll be, there is some talk, I haven't looked into it, as to whether they would be actually awarded a title, because the IFSS very much want to be able to have towards the Olympic Committee. So they want to be able to have ski-oring as an Olympic sport. And if you have lots and lots of world champions, then it makes it quite hard to then have that event in the Olympics. So I'm not sure. There's a lot that's going on, but we'll find out lots as we go through this. You need to be placed in the top 3 of the BSSF Championships. Places can be really limited, actually, for the IFSS, and sometimes it's only the top 1 or 2 that can go through, because the places are so limited on it. But if you wanted to have a look about that, that's the website address for all of the IFSS, and all of their up-to-date information as well. And they've got a Facebook page that you can look at. There is also now ESDRA, which is a European Sled Dog Racing Association, which has come from the European branch of the IFSS. It went very quiet for a short time, and it has been reinvigorated to try and build actually a lot of it's the monosports within that as well. So they were hoping to put an event on in Italy, which was going to be at the end of October. That's being postponed due to COVID and everything, and just the organisation of getting that done. But they are going to be they were planning to put in all of the age categories for the monosports, which was quite interesting and going to be quite fun. So all the way, the same age categories that the ICF actually offer, they were going to be trialling in that event. And again, it depends on the numbers that enter. If they get enough numbers and are supported, they'll probably carry on doing it. If they don't get enough entries, it's not worth their time, they probably won't. So, but again, I'm not sure what's happening with their events. So they've gone quiet until I think COVID and everything happens and they can get new dates sorted. And then a lot of the events, I've put the FSLC in there because a lot of the events that Mark's been talking about are the French events are run under this one, aren't they?
Yep.
And you can say, what is it? Go on, say it in French. I love it.
Fédération des Sports et Loisirs Canins.
And what is loisirs canin? Tell me.
Loisirs is your free time, playtime, fun time. So, and canin is dogs.
I love that.
It's just playing with dogs. Federation of Sports and playing with dogs.
I love that. That's great. That's what we all do.
And being in the UK, they will welcome UK people to become members of them, which makes it a lot easier for insurance, for everything, when you come over and do European events. And it's €25 a year.
I had no idea that we could do that.
Well, Natalie's been a member for 3 years. I've also Kate Huggins has been a member for 3 or 4 years.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, right. Well, and how do we do that? Is it just on their website?
they have a platform, a web platform that you can go in and enter all your details. Sometimes they ask you for a French address. Sometimes they don't. If they do ask it, you can contact me and I can give you a French address. You get a free T-shirt. And but Yvonne knows I asked him a few years back, would it be okay? Because it just makes it easier, and it makes it easier for the TDM organizers as well. So you're asking for insurance and everything like that, because you produce your medical certificate, you put it all on the site, you get a membership card, and you are covered for every race that the FSLC is adhered to. So I do all my racing in France, all my racing in Switzerland, all my racing in Germany with my FSLC license. That covers me for that.
That is the best handy tip I've had. That is awesome news.
25 euros.
And what calendar year does that run?
Runs from the end of the year to the December to December.
Okay. That's fantastic. I think I'll be playing with that game, because it just makes it easier, doesn't it?
I only got it at the start for the TDM, and if I do the Europeans, because it just means if there's any issues, it was at a time when the BSSF weren't the main sponsor to, CaniCross in the UK, and there was no insurance, there was nothing. So doing it that way around, and I've just kept it going.
Fantastic. Love it. Brilliant. I hope that kind of makes sense a little bit, which only just leaves us to, guys, has anybody got any questions about the events that we've been chatting about, or, anything at all? Please do give us a shout if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask.
Well, while you're thinking about questions, I will take you through the Swiss Championship races. Now, the Swiss, you turn up on a Saturday morning, you pay your entry fee, you decide what you're going to do. You start between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. whenever you want. You can run as many times as you want with as many dogs as you want. You can run, bike, scooter, 3 dogs. The next day, you do it between 8 o'clock in the morning and 11:30, anytime you want. If you've got a dog that likes to chase your partner, husband, whatever, they can start in front of you and you can go behind them. If you've got kids and you want the kids to be behind you, I train Cray to run behind me. The Swiss, they let you start when you want. They have people on the start line, they have people on the finish, they time you, they stay there for the whole 3 hours. You come and go as you like. If you have a bad run, you can go back and do it again. No problem at all. It is a great system. It is super. If ever you get a chance to go for a weekend in Switzerland, I recommend it.
And how much is the starts, Mark?
20 euros for your first start and 10 euros for every start after that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's a great system. It really is so friendly. It is. I just.
Are they quite busy? Are they? Is there?
No. I mean, your camping's all free, and I go for the full weekend to take the camping car and stay with Daniel and my friend Oliver. And it's I'd say there's probably the other weekend there was about 75 starts. Some other ones get about 120 starts over the whole weekend. So, but it's if you're ever in Switzerland, I would say have a go at it. It's great. I mean, it's great if you've got a young dog. You can start when there's nobody out in the course. There's nothing's going to come past you or go. You can just do it. If you said to the organizers, can you give me 5 minutes and don't start MD, they wouldn't start anybody like you 5 minutes if your dog's nervous or that. But I mean, for me, because my dog chases, I wait till a bike or a scooter starts and I just jump on behind them. Thanks very much.
I love it. Oh God, I love it. Oh, Mark, I've loved it, because I've managed to find out a whole list of events I'd like to go to and revisit a whole pile that, I just adore. And I really hope, guys, that you've kind of, it's the travel side of it is a little bit more complicated at the moment, but if we can help with any of that, we're busy going out.
But to be honest, don't be scared. Every event, every organizer, I've not come across a bad one. They will go out their way to give you a positive experience. And if you're over in Europe and anything happens, call me. You know, I'm there if you need help, if you need emergency or anything, or even just a translator for something that you're stuck with. I don't care who it is, you know, trail runners, anybody coming over. If you need help, there's a phone call, and you know, if I can help, I will.
Thank you, Mark. That's absolutely, that's superb to know that. Yeah, it's like our third emergency service.
Well, you know what I mean.
I know, but it really is. If anybody's got any questions, honestly ask. But if you've got anything you want to write in and stuff, and I can ask Mark later or whatever. But I really, really hope you've just, you know, and hopefully put your mind at ease about coming out and having a go at some of these events. They are so much fun, so friendly. And they're so accommodating, and so, you know, I'm not going to say grateful, but they really appreciate the effort that we've put in to get out there and to travel to get to them.
Yeah, they certainly do.
And you know, and that's what makes it so special when you get there. And I mean, quite a few years ago into the TSB, they kept giving us bottles of wine, the large bottles of wine, because we were always the smiliest guys out there. It's like, why wouldn't I be? I'm in the middle of France having the best time with amazing trails. And it's on holiday, just fab. So, but guys, I really hope you've learned. I hope, and really sort of like, you know, empower you to go out there and do it. And if anyone's got any questions, there's a whole, you know, there's a lot of us that have done these a lot. I have, Simon, Mandy, Natalie's been to quite a few now, and those are just a few names that I can see on here. So if you've ever got any questions about these, please do ask. And Mark's the other end of a messenger as well. Verity.
Got one. What is a DID number? Because it's something that we're asked when you sign up to BSSF, and I have no idea what it is.
A DID number is, I'm just going to let the dog out. Hang on, I'm not ducking your question. A DID number is if you would like to get, I can't remember what it stands for. Simon might know. But it's if you would like World Cup points. So it's for the racing under the IFSS. And if you go to a lot of European events, or you even some of the events in UK, you can accumulate World Cup points on. So they run a series where you get World Cup points, and then they sort of send out a result afterwards. And they have to be accumulated. It's usually, it's a little bit weird. And they eventually kind of send you a medal to say, well done, you've won. But that can take a little bit of time to come through. And often people have done a lot of events rather than the winners of the events, because you accumulate points for the more events that you actually take part in.
And you get it's the same points for if you do different events, your points get added together. So it's not depending on discipline or anything like that. It's just depending on what you've done, and you get points. If you're a musher, you get points. You know, if you do mushing and ski-touring, you'll get points, and they'll all accumulate. And at the end of the year, they have the top athlete and the second and third, and they send out little prizes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Mandy?
It's driver ID it stands for.
That's it. Driver ID. So it really is only, I mean, in UK, we've only really got access to a couple of events. Usually, if you've got 3 national championship events, each of those will be a World Cup event. But that relies on having a race marshal, and we've only got a couple, I think 2, which are actually qualified in UK. And if either of those can't actually be in attendance at the race, it cannot be a World Cup points event. So if you're competing only in UK, it's quite a limited opportunity to gain those points. Whereas if you're competing in Europe, it's a lot more.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Marcia's got a question, I think. Marcia, she's on mute at the moment. Do we need to take it?
I'm not sure that wasn't a clap, not a...
Oh, okay, cool.
This may be a real stupid question, right? Because I've never done any BSSF events. Do they take in CaniCross standings, or do they look at that?
No, it's to enter the BSSF event and the national championships, you need to actually race at the BSSF national championships in order to get a ranking.
And the other stupid question I'm going to ask, because I think I know the answer before, I've never inoculated any of mine past puppy vaccinations, so I'd have to go through a full course of vaccinations if I wanted to take them abroad.
It's weird. In order to travel, you actually only need rabies for your pet passport. In order to race abroad, Mark, do they accept teeter testing?
They do accept it to a certain extent, and most federations here stipify that it has to be your normal vaccinations for distemper, Leishman.
Oh yeah.
Bars, yep, which is your normal ones that you get, and the kennel cough.
So it's obviously the full whack then.
Yeah, it is.
There is.
Okay, thanks for that.
It might be, I mean, it's something that is coming up more and more about people asking where the titer testing would be accepted. And I think that's something that's probably might come through from the vets at some point.
But they just keep changing. They keep changing the goalpost for the teeter test, you know, especially coming over as well and going back. And there's some of the, I know that a lot of the big events in agility and that they are now accepting the teeter test as of last year. So whether or not in the future it is accepted, you know, Europe wide, I don't know. Brexit has put up so many barriers now. It will probably depend on how much money they can make out of everyone.
Yeah, but they'll probably still ask for kennel cough anyway.
Unfortunately, I mean, I don't agree with kennel cough. And I know people think it's a good thing. You know, it's never been proven. But if I want to race over here, I've got to get it on my dogs, and I do. So, you know, it's like everything. If I want to run, it needs doing.
Any other questions, guys? Sue.
Yeah, hi. It's just a quick question about the medical certificates. Do you need to get the medical certificate from? Sorry, I'm being attacked by a puppy. Do you need to get the medical? Is that from the docs? You need to get that. Or,
yeah, it's exactly. If you were going to do the Paris Marathon, they have a form on their website that says medical for doing sport, and it is, and all it is, the doctor says you are fit to do that sport. There is a generic one kicking about a lot of the pages that you can take into the doctor and say that I'm going to do an event overseas. I need to be medically fit, and they just stamp it.
Brilliant, thank you.
Or just make yourself a stamp and stamp it and do a funny signature and, you know, hope that you don't get injured. What's wrong, Simon?
La 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 la. Brilliant.
Thank
Good
you.
one. Fantastic. Is there anybody else?
Do you, I've got another one, sorry. Is it mainly people with motorhomes that go to European races, or you can just turn up in a car and there's facilities, or does it just depend race by race, really?
It's, I mean, with the internet these days, it's so easy for you to go on whatever venue it's got. If you went into that town and looked at accommodation, and it'll still be in English and everything, and there'll be reviews telling you what it's like. You can go in a car, you can sleep in your car, you can go in a tent, take your tent. I've never ever had to pay for camping, but there's always been camping available. There's always been parking for motorhomes. The one thing that is not always available is electricity. So a lot of the time people take their own generators, or they turn up with enough electricity for a weekend. The week-long events and the 4-day events, normally you can have somewhere that you can plug into electricity for your camper vans and your caravans.
Great, thank you, Mark.
But it's quite easy, is it, to find dog-friendly accommodation as well?
This is Europe, Kushla. Just about everywhere is dog-friendly.
Just thought I'd throw it in there.
I mean, it's in France, I don't think there's many places that won't accept a dog. In Switzerland, the Swiss are quite strict on your dog being off a lead in the open. So a lot of the Swiss events, your dogs don't get to run about wild everywhere, but most places will accept pets because all the Swiss pets are so under control, it's unbelievable. And then the Germans, again, they're pretty dog friendly.
Yeah.
Even the big hotels in Germany.
Yeah.
Not that I would know about hotels because I'm Scottish and I haven't got enough money and I'm retired and I haven't got a job. So
I do remember you putting your tent in the multi-story car park at the top.
it was raining. It was raining.
It was classic. A tent in a multi-story car park. It had to be done.
Sue's got a hand up.
Sue, did you have another question? Or
That might have been Uhtred actually catching the screen, sorry.
you just got a question. Can I go?
He's coming to France this year.
Yay!
Hey, good.
Fantastic. Oh, guys, it's been, well, I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been just great chatting and really great questions. Thank you for those. And yeah, I really hope that, you know, we've inspired some of you to come out and join us because that it's just really good fun. And there's a whole heap of events. And I just wish I could kind of like, you know, just tour my way around all of the events year round, really. And do Europe, be awesome. But
the FSLC now have a calendar of events that they cover in France. The Swiss federations, if you just put Swiss CaniCross, you will get all the Swiss races, the same as the Germans. They're all pretty good now, Europe-wide, the Spanish and the Italians as well. All their websites are really easy to manage and look at, and they offer a huge selection of races. So you wouldn't just be coming for just one day. You know, you could easily have a week of racing all around Europe.
awesome. Oh, sounds fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Mark. I really, really appreciate you taking the time because you know these inside out. So thank you so much. Really,
I'm here. If anybody ever needs anything, give me a call. I don't do anything else. I'm retired.
But in all, just one last thing, in all seriousness, if anybody is interested or that you need to get animal health certificates, there is a lovely vet. She is based in Wiltshire, V. Richardson, who is a retired canicrosser. And she is doing animal health certificates for people going out to competitions. It's £75 for your initial dog and £25 for any subsequent.
Wow.
So it's, yeah. And she's doing that because she's an ex-canicrosser and she's a vet and she wants to help out. So if anybody would like her details, please do give us a shout. But it's £75 for your first, 25 for our subsequent, which is an absolute bargain if anyone's been shopping around for animal health certificates.
One thing on bringing dogs to overseas, if they have a European passport, it is not valid unless you have a residency permit for somewhere in Europe. They are checking now residency permits. So if you have a dog that has got a Polish passport or Romanian passport, it is not valid. You must have a health certificate. You do not even need a passport with your health certificate. The health certificate gives everything. You do not also need to produce a passport.
Okay, that's interesting because a lot of people were getting French passports for their dogs.
Yeah, if they've got an address in France and they've got a residency, yeah, that's fair enough. But they have now started checking because they've cottoned on to a lot of people getting a foreign passport. The foreign vets now, the French vets, the Belgian vets as well, will not issue a foreign passport if you do not have residency in that country.
Good tip.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, because there's a lot of people doing that. I was considering it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Mark, you have been an absolute fount of knowledge. So thank you for all of that. And I thank you so much for giving your time up as well.
Not a problem. Anytime.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys. I really hope you've all enjoyed it as well and got some information from that. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Au revoir.
Oh, very good. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.